Hello there.
What's going on? Welcome back to the channel today, guys. It's your boy Ellie Moses, and I understand that I have quite a few new subscribers from the Mr. H live stream. So if you guys are new subscribers, thank you so much, man, for subscribing. And justice for Ellie if you came from that stream and you understand. I'm still recovering from it. It's okay. I've got this. Nah, I'm just joking. It was all good and fun. I had a blast, absolute blast on that stream, and if you're new to the channel, guys, I've started to delve into more 4K reviews now. I really love doing the series Flicks and Bricks, which is a series where I build Lego and do movie reviews, and I'm going to do a live one for the final Harry Potter film, so please let me know if you guys want to see a live one for that. I'll do a live build and discuss Harry Potter in general with it, so I can interact with you guys as well. So hopefully you like that, and if you're new to the channel as well, I have a ranking system that goes off the basis of Star Wars. So when I rank things or anything that I'm discussing to do with ranking, for instance, if it's a 4K review, a movie review, or something that I'm ranking, for instance, in this video, I'll be discussing, is 4K really worth it? I am going to rank the 4K experience, and my ranking system basically goes like this. So it's based off Star Wars. At the top, you have Grandmaster, then you have Jedi Master, then you have Jedi Knight, then you have Padawan, then you have Youngling, then you have the Trash Compactor. So that's my ranking system. I want to try and be unique on this thing. I don't want to give it just a normal A, B, and C, or normal out of 10. But yeah, today we'll be discussing, is the 4K experience really worth it? And I myself have started to collect some 4Ks over the last year or two. My Blu-ray collection with my dad and my brother is pretty decent. We're getting there, but we have started to delve into some 4Ks, and I have a few of the 4Ks. I have like all here. I've got, if you guys want to, actually, I'll give a quick run through of the films I have here, and if you really want to see some 4K reviews, please let me know which ones you want to see that are not on the channel already. So I have the Predator collection in 4K. I have like Civil War. I have Marvel's The Avengers, which I've already reviewed. I have Age of Ultron, which I haven't yet opened. I have Thor Ragnarok. I've got the Avengers Infinity War Steelbook on 4K, which is great. We have the entire Harry Potter collection, which we are doing Flicks and Bricks for at the moment. We have the Lord of the Rings trilogy in 4K, which I reviewed, and I think that's my most viewed video on the channel. So I absolutely, Lord of the Rings is the GOAT. That's all I'm gonna say. I have Planet Earth 2. So don't laugh. I love that stuff. I love my nature. Once Upon a Time Hollywood 4K Steelbook as well. Absolutely fantastic Steelbook. The Hobbit trilogy in 4K. After seeing how great Lord of the Rings was, we got The Hobbit. The Transformers series in 4K. All 5 films. Whatever you think about that, I have it in 4K as well. I have the Meg Steelbook in 4K. I've still got Pacific Rim. Actually, the final films on 4K here are the films that I have reviewed, because we are doing sort of like a kaiju theme as we lead up to Godzilla vs. Kong. So Pacific Rim on 4K, King Kong on 4K. Actually, a fellow subscriber, Rob Fellows, mentioned to review this. I bought it and we reviewed it. Jaws on 4K, Kong Skull Island in 4K, and Godzilla King of the Monsters in 4K. Fantastic artwork steelbook as well for that. I actually do have more 4Ks, but I didn't want to get them out because like they're sort of hidden with the Blu-rays, and I didn't want to mess up anything unless my dad and brother start yelling at me. So yeah, actually there are rules in this house. Like I know I have the Braveheart one there on 4K. I have the Dark Knight in 4K. I have a few others. I think I have Rogue One as well, the Star Wars. So yeah, if you want me to review any other 4Ks, let me know. I also have Finding Nemo in 4Ks. Goat movie. Let me know if you want me to review any of these or any other 4Ks you want me to review as well. I can go out of my way and buy it. That's fine. Anything for you guys. I mean, I bought the King Kong 4K for Rob Fellows. But moving on to, is the 4K experience really worth it? Now, I'm just going to give a quick rundown on how my experience started. I was an avid DVD collector, and then when I purchased my PS4, my local Video Easy and Blockbuster were having clearances because they were going out of business, which is a shame. So when they were going out of business, I'm like, oh, my PS4 is a Blu-ray player. I can play Blu-ray. So my first ever Blu-ray I purchased was Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And I remember playing that, watching it that night on the Blu-ray, obviously, because the PS4 was a Blu-ray player. and I was amazed at the quality from the transition to, I think, 720p with the DVDs to 1080p, and I was just like, wow. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was like, this is an amazing. And I'm like, Dad, you gotta watch this. Look how clear it is. And ever since then, my dad has transitioned. My brother has transitioned to Blu-rays. And when 4Ks came out, I was like, every time I went to my local store where it's called JB Hi-Fi here in Australia, where they display all the TVs in 4K, and I was just like, wow, this looks amazing in 4K. And they were displaying Planet Earth 2 in 4K, like one of the Planet Earths. They were displaying that in 4K. I'm like, that looks amazing, Dad. And then one day my dad comes home with a 4K TV, and I'm just like, wow, let's go. I was so hyped about it. You can tell how energetic I am about it. So my dad comes home with a 4K TV, and then I straight away get the because we had like 4K movies, but we didn't have the TV or the player for some reason. Like, that's just me. That's me purchasing stuff. I'm weird, but yeah. So I go to put it in, and it doesn't work because we don't have the 4K Blu-ray player at the time. We had the 4K TV, but the Blu-ray player. And I was like, Dad, you gotta get a player as well. So my dad goes out, forks out 350 Australian dollars to buy a 4K Blu-ray player. So we had that. The whole package is complete. And then we realized you have to get a HDMI cable as well for the 4K. It's just like, come on, man. You gotta get the entire package. And that's one of the negatives of the 4K experience, guys. You need to have the TV. You need to have the 4K Blu-ray player as well, unless you have a PS5 as well, which not many people have because they're really hard to get, or an Xbox Series 1X or a PS4 Pro. You need a 4K Blu-ray player as well. You need the entire plate, and then you need a special HDMI cable as well. So it does cost a lot, guys, and I'm blessed to have a great dad. I love my dad. This is going into a dad review, but no. He knows how much I love movies. He purchased the 4K. He really loves the experience as well, to the point where he's walked in on a couple of times where I was watching 4Ks, and he's said to himself, "Wow, this is clear." He can see the difference, and he even realizes that. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, transitioning from Blu-ray to 4K, part of me sometimes can't go back now to watching Blu-rays. I mean, an example of that is the King Kong 4K review, which is up on the channel now. I watched the 4K, and then I was like, okay, let me rewatch a bit of the Blu-ray to compare it. And I'm just like, I cannot go back to this. Even though Blu-ray is really clear as well, the 4K, it just has that sort of crisp look to it, and it just seems more vibrant and lifelike. However, that does depend on the 4K transfer, and if you are buying 4Ks, guys, I know when they first come out here in Australia, if it's a new release, they're about $39.99 Australian, and I know some of the steelbooks, for example, guys, they are like 47 Australian dollars, and they are expensive. It's like $50, almost $50 for a film. I said in my Godzilla King of the Monsters review that the 4K is definitely not worth it. The steelbook is fantastic, the artwork is fantastic, but is it $50 worth for a 4K experience with King of the Monsters? No, the 4K transfer is actually really poor. So it depends on how well the 4K transfer is done as well. If you're a massive film lover and you have the TV, I know we're in a world now where smart TVs and everything run basically our homes, everything. So most people, you might have a 4K TV. If you're blessed enough to have it, you have a 4K TV, but not necessarily the player. So you do have to invest in a player as well. I know I have a Sony Bravia 4K Ultra HD TV. I know that with an OLED TV, it becomes a bit more vibrant and clearer as well. So if you want to go up that level next, OLED TVs start at around 3,000 to 4,000 Australian. So yeah, and that's just for the normal 50-inch one. So it's not like that big of a screen. My TV, I think, is 60 or 65 inch, but yeah, in terms of a 4K experience, it is an amazing cinematic experience depending on the transfer as well. So if you just want to go out and buy your favorite movie on 4K, do the research first in terms of how well the 4K transfer is done, because you may be disappointed. For instance, I know Terminator Judgment Day is one of my favorite films of all time, and it came out on 4K, and I was recently going to buy it because I love the film so much, and my brother told me that, oh, it's a poor transfer, don't buy it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure thing, mate. And I watched a lot of reviews on it, and they said it's one of the worst 4K transfers. It's really bad. So I saved that $25 I was going to spend and invested in another 4K. I do my research before I do buy my 4Ks, guys. Sometimes I don't, and that's like, for example, Godzilla King of Monsters. I saw how good the artwork was, and I just bought it, and I'm just like, yeah. It's one of those moments where you're in the hype, and for instance, a lot of those purchases are in the hype as well. And when the 4K transfers are done right, guys, it is absolutely amazing. It's a cinematic experience at home. When you have the sound bars, yep, if you want to purchase sound bars as well, when you have the sound bars and the audio is done right on the 4K transfer as well. For instance, the Pacific Rim 4K transfer, I have reviewed it on my channel, guys. Because the film was shot on digital, they have ample opportunity to how can I say it? They have ample opportunity to transfer the film to 8K if they want, or 4K, whatever. Like, they have ample opportunity to do so. And with the digital, when the film is shot on digital, when you're watching the 4K transfer at home, you get the full screen of the TV. You don't get the black sidebars. However, there are times where I've enjoyed... I'm a massive fan of the full screen TV. I know some people like when films are shot on film and you get the traditional sidebars and a more grainier experience. That is fine. I do enjoy a lot of 4Ks like that. For instance, the King Kong 4K transfer had fantastic grain to it, and it was shot on film as well. But I do prefer like no sidebars, and I think Pacific Rim and the Avengers 4K transfers are like that because they're shot on digital. You get the full screen experience, and the 4K just stands out. The clarity, the vibrancy, everything just stands out. The audio is riveting on those. So yeah, is the 4K experience really worth it? I'm hoping you guys got something out of this video. Sorry if I blurred on too much. I've tried to put a lot of energy into it. I love 4K, I love films, and I love collecting hard copies. They're just sitting on my bed here now. But let me know if you guys want me to review any of these 4Ks here, or if you want me to purchase any. I'm a massive 4K lover. Obviously, it's not doing well in the market. Not many people tend to go out and buy 4Ks. Obviously, I'm a massive film lover. Some people I know are massive film lovers, so they would collect 4Ks as well. But with the 4K experience, it doesn't just stop at you buying the 4K. You gotta adjust the settings on your TV as well to suit the cinematic, not cinematic, to suit the 4K transfer. So for instance, you gotta make sure your TV is in HDR mode, not auto or game or cinema. Make sure it's in HDR mode. Then you gotta adjust the settings as well. You gotta adjust, for instance, the black level of your TV to make sure that when you're seeing black on your screen, it is black on your screen, so it's not sort of like a grayish color, if that makes sense. You gotta adjust the settings on your TV. You gotta adjust the sharpness, the brightness. So I'm not too much of an expert when it comes to that. I mean, if you are buying a TV or you are familiar with your TV, do a bit of research into what settings are best for 4K for your TV. Sometimes I just leave it as it is and just play the movie and just leave it on the HDR settings that are based for the TV, because it does work fantastic. For the transfers, the Pacific Rim transfer, it worked fantastic for that. I just changed my TV to HDR mode, and usually when you plug in, when you put in your 4K disc into the player, my TV does automatically change it to 4K, to HDR mode. But I know I've lied on for 13 minutes now. Hopefully this video has been informative, but the 4K experience, guys, is expensive. It is not cheap. It is definitely not cheap. That's why people tend to lean towards more streaming services now, because you pay your monthly rate and you get a bunch of films everywhere. But however, with streaming services as well, some films are on some streaming services, some are not, and then sometimes they're on it and then they get taken down. So that's why I prefer to have the hard copy. I just love it. It's more authentic. I love film. Hopefully you guys can appreciate that as well. And sometimes if you have a 4K TV and you're streaming on Disney Plus now or Netflix, and they have the potential you can stream in 2160 now 4K, it never really does reach the true 4K potential as well. So keep that in mind. Streaming, you never get the full 4K quality as the disc. So I'm just letting you know, guys. So it does happen as well with that. And some films as well, you do purchase, particularly older films that have been transferred. For instance, The Lord of the Rings that was shot on 2K. When you're transferring from a 2K to a 4K, you never quite reach the heights of 4K because it was shot on film. Whereas if you're shot on digital, as I said before, the possibilities are endless with the 4K transfers. And for instance, one 4K transfer I really want to purchase is the Martian, because apparently that was shot on 5K. So I reckon that would look really good in 4K. But yeah, if you're a fan of the finer details in film, such as like the grain, you love seeing the subtle details on characters' skin, and just an overall more clear experience, it is amazing. The 4K transfer, it shows how far we have come in terms of technology. It is awesome seeing 4K, guys. But if I am going to rank the 4K experience, guys, I know you probably think I have like tooted its horn so much, but I am going to give the 4K experience in terms of films overall, the 4K experience, guys, I am going to give the rank of Jedi Knight. And you may think that is pretty low because you have freaking like gone off about it. You have lauded 4K, but I'm going to be realistic, guys. I'm going to be honest, and hopefully you can appreciate that. This is a one-take review as well. I've tried to keep it authentic as possible. Hopefully you guys like that. But it is an expensive experience, guys, to buy the TV first. And if you do have the TV, if you are living like with your parents like me, or which I am blessed to have the TV, if you are blessed to have the TV at home, fair enough. But then you also have to get the player, which is expensive as well. Then you have to get the special HDMI cable for the 4K as well. And then when you're purchasing 4Ks, it does accumulate in price over the time. For instance, in Australia, when they go down to base price, like after the film has been out for a while, they go down to $24.99 Australian, and then when they're first released, they're about 37 Australian. So they are pretty pricey. It does get pretty pricey. I have slowed down on my purchases lately, but if you guys really want me to review one, I will buy it. It does get expensive, but there are so many 4Ks I have here that I've yet to review. So please let me know which ones you want me to, and then in the meantime, I can try and earn a little bit of money and then purchase some more. But yeah, I am addicted. It is an addiction for me. Once I got to experience what 4K is like, it became an addiction. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This is quite a long one, but yeah, I tried to be as authentic as I can in my 4K transfer. But yeah, I love this, guys. I love film. Hopefully you guys can appreciate it. I'm gonna try and do an awesome thumbnail with this. But yeah, guys, as I said before, I recommend, if you can afford it, the 4K transfer is extremely worth it. And do your research on the films you do want to purchase on 4K. Don't just go buying many films in 4K, but do your research before. Maybe check out some of my reviews. Yeah. But yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for Flicks and Bricks. I am going to do a live one for the last Harry Potter. I'm just trying to get my hands on one of the sets. So yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. Thank you for subscribing. I love you all. God bless. I never thought in a year I'd see myself on a stream with that Star Wars girl, Tom from Midnight's Edge, and Mr. H reviews. It's mental. I know if you're watching this somehow, I forgive you. It's okay. Nah, I'm joking. It's all good. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, it's been your boy Ellie Moses. Take care. God bless and peace.